Hello, welcome to my channel. I hope you are having an amazing day. I'm Vera. On here, I read out stories that I receive from my followers and subscribers. Stories in need of your advice and opinions. And so if you love real and unique stories, welcome. You are the right place. Now, is something on your mind? Do you need advice on a problem? We are here to help you. Just send your story to my TikTok page at vera.h. I'm going to leave it on the screen. Write out your story and send it to me, and when I post your story, I'm going to notify you and let you know your story is up. Please like this video and hit the subscribe button. And remember to click the notification bell so that when I post, you'll be notified immediately. Shout out to Hope Godwin 1162 for being the first person to comment on my last video. Your support means so much to me, babe. I love you. Now, without waiting any longer, let's dive into today's stories. Story number 1. My mother-in-law might be a witch, and it's starting to scare me. Something has been weighing on my mind for quite some time, and I haven't been able to shake it off. I've spoken to a few friends about this, but nobody believes me. They think I'm just stressed or being paranoid, but deep down, I feel something is seriously wrong. I think my mother-in-law is a witch. To give you some context, I'm 27 years old and I've been married to my amazing wife for 3 years. She's truly my soulmate and our life together has been wonderful. Or at least it was until some strange things started happening. It all began the first time I met my mother-in-law. I had been overworked that week, so I tried to chalk down the strange occurrence to stress because what I saw was just not possible. And I told myself I didn't really see what I saw. We were visiting her in the village, and I could have sworn I saw my mother-in-law standing in the kitchen, and then not a second later, I saw her standing outside talking to a neighbor. I had to rub my eyes to see if I was seeing things clearly. It was just not possible, and I couldn't wrap my mind around it. And so I convinced myself it was just my tired mind playing tricks on me. Since my wife and I lived in a different region, I didn't really see her mother again until our traditional wedding. And at this point, I had almost forgotten about the first incident. The strange occurrences continued at our traditional engagement ceremony. Amid the joy and celebration, I caught my mother-in-law giving me the strangest look. It wasn't the usual proud mother's glance. It was chilling, and it felt like she was looking into my soul. I shrugged it off at the time, telling myself I was overthinking. Things took a turn after the wedding. I began having vivid, disturbing dreams. In every dream, I found myself lost in a dense forest, with my mother-in-law always appearing, leading me deeper into the woods, with a smile on her face, and then I would wake up every time, drenched in sweat. The dream lingering with me far longer than any normal nightmare would. But I convinced myself it was just wedding stress. Several months later, we moved into our new home, and that is when things got even stranger. She came to visit us one day, and everything was going great until one day I heard some noise outside my window. My wife was fast asleep by then. I tried to sleep, but the noise was keeping me up. There was a stray cat who always come and eat the food from our dustbin, and I thought the noise was coming from the cat. I just couldn't take it anymore, and so I decided to go and sack the cat away. But what I saw shocked me to my core. My mother-in-law was standing outside naked. A nightgown was on the floor. She was kicking the side of the house and chanting. I shouted at once, and she turned towards me and immediately grabbed a nightgown, said sorry to me, and ran into the house. When I told my wife about what I had seen, she said her mother sleepwalks sometimes and that she would talk to her to lock her door at night. A few days later, I was cleaning when I found a peculiar bundle under our bed. 2 feathers tied together with a red string. When I asked my wife about it, she said she didn't know anything about it. And then she laughed and said her mother might have been the one to place it there. She said her mother was just superstitious and that it was probably a charm for good luck. But I couldn't shake the uneasy feeling the discovery gave me. A particular unnerving incident happened when my friend visited us. Now, my friend is one of the most rational people I know, very grounded and skeptical of anything supernatural. But that day, he looked visibly uncomfortable and agitated. When I asked him what was wrong, he said he felt an overwhelming sense of dread as soon as he saw my mother-in-law. He left abruptly, and has refused to visit our home since then. The final straw for me came a month ago. While cleaning out the room my mother-in-law slept in, I discovered a box filled with odd items, bones of small animals, more feathers, and a carved wooden doll that I swear resembled me. The sight of this object sent chills down my spine. I took pictures of everything and showed them to my brother. He immediately said these items are used in witchcrafts. Now, things have become even more pressing. My wife is pregnant with our first child, and I should be overjoyed. But my mother-in-law has been talking about doing some incantations and sacrifices for the baby. Even though I'm not a Christian, I'm deeply uncomfortable with this. When I expressed my concerns to my wife, she brushed them off, saying that she and her siblings went through the same rituals and they turned out fine. But the whole idea fills me with dread. To make matters worse, my mother-in-law is planning to move closer to us to help with the baby. My wife thinks it's a great idea since my mom lives abroad and can't help us. But the thought of my mother-in-law living nearby gives me the creeps. Her eerie presence and unsettling behaviors make me very uneasy. I feel like I'm living in a horror movie. My wife remains blissfully unaware, brushing off her mother's strange behavior as harmless superstition. I love my wife deeply, but I can't ignore this anymore. I feel like there's a dark cloud hanging over us, and I'm genuinely scared for our future and safety. I need your help. Am I overreacting? How do I confront this situation without alarming my wife or causing unnecessary family conflicts? Have any of you experienced something similar? Please, I'm desperate for advice and insight. Thank you for taking the time to read my story. This spiritual stories always gives me goosebumps. Look at my hand. Now, this is what I think you should do. Find a quiet and calm time to talk to your wife. Be gentle and don't blame her mother. Explain that while you respect her family's traditions, some of these practices make you very uncomfortable. She needs to know that your concern comes from a place of love and care. Now, to make peace, try to find a compromise where you might agree to some traditions that don't involve spells and incantations. Now, I think you should talk to someone who knows more about the spiritual world. This is going to help you understand what is going on. Because like I always say, I don't know much about the spiritual world. Educate yourself about the traditions and rituals your mother-in-law wants to perform. It could really be their normal family traditional practices. Just make your own research and understand what the rituals entail before agreeing to them. And this is very important. Trust your feelings. If something feels wrong to you, don't ignore it. Now, if you're uncomfortable with your mother-in-law being close to you and coming to your house often, let your wife know. Set clear boundaries with her. Politely but firmly let your wife know what you are comfortable with and what you are not comfortable with. Now, handling the situation takes patience. When you communicate with your wife, be honest and respectful in your communication and always prioritize the safety and well-being of your family. I wish you and your growing family peace and happiness. I don't know if your mother-in-law is a witch or not, but I hope this helps. Now, if you have any advice for this sender, just write story number 1 and leave your advice and opinions. It's going to be in the comment section, reading them. Now, let's move on to story number 2. Hello, my story is quite a long one, but I will try my best to make it short. I was 18 years old when I met my baby daddy. I had just graduated from secondary school, and my mom registered me at one of our local hospitals to do auxiliary nursing. It was introduced to me by one of my in-laws. I was naive back then. He came with his people to my village, took the marriage list, and said he would come back in April. During this period, I visited him, and he took my virginity, leading to my pregnancy. I was 19 years old then. When I was 5 months pregnant, he left the country. I wasn't even aware he was processing his papers. It was only after his visa was approved that he told me he was traveling the next month. I was shocked and I cried a lot because that wasn't what he promised me. He didn't complete the marriage rites before he traveled. He left me with his parents and they turned me into a maid. I suffered in their hands. The only money I managed was what my mom gave me. Before he would give me money, he would send it to his mom first. Sometimes he wouldn't call me directly. He would call his mom and then she would pass the phone to me. After 3 months of giving birth, I resumed my training till I graduated and got a job that paid me 8,000 naira, which was barely enough to buy baby food that could last 1 week. I would call him and sometimes he wouldn't answer for a week. and he wouldn't text me back. After 2 years, I got tired and fed up, and I decided to leave for good. I went to his village, packed my bags, and told his parents that I was leaving and done with their son. When they told him, he never called to ask about me or check up on me till today. My baby is 4 years old, but my problem now is that since the past 2 years I left him, I have been hustling on my own. I left my baby with my mom and traveled out of the state. I got a job as a cashier in one of the big pharmacies in the city, and they pay me 35,000 naira. I take care of my baby with the money, sending money home, and visiting her almost every week. During the holidays, she and my younger sister visit me here, and some weekends they come around. Now, my problem is that my mom really wants me to get married. Since this year, suitors have been coming for my hand in marriage, but I haven't found the one for me. I don't think they are coming because they love me. I've had my own share of heartbreak since I left my baby daddy. I met a guy whom I loved dearly, but he literally maltreated me. I even had to have an abortion for him because I realized he did not see me in his future, and then I left him earlier this year. Now, my problem is there is this guy my grandmother introduced me to. I really like him. He's also a single father, but he's telling me to get pregnant first before he can proceed to marry me. I got angry at him the first day he said it, but he apologized to me that he was sorry. But I noticed that anytime I'm with him, he tells me not to take any drugs if I'm feeling anyhow because he wants me to get pregnant so he can come and pay the bride price. I have promised myself that I will never get pregnant again until I got married, but he's reassuring me that once I get married for him, he will come and pay my bride price. I told my mom about it, and she's pressuring me to get pregnant for him, saying that I'm already 24 years old and that men hardly marry women with kids nowadays. Since I have found this one, she says I should try my best to make it work and get pregnant for him. However, I am not ready for that. I know what I went through with my baby daddy, and I don't want to give birth to another baby out of wedlock. I am really confused now and don't know what to do. Please, I really need your advice. Last week, he called me again and was pleading with me to come and see him this weekend. Once more, he brought up the issue of getting pregnant, saying that he would really appreciate it if I would reconsider. I wanted to see what he would say if I told him that I was not ready to get pregnant. He said that once I get pregnant this month, he will come and pay the bride price by Christmas. But deep down, I know I am not ready to do it. I am really confused right now and I don't know what to do. I want to take contraceptives before I go to see him because I don't believe he truly wants to marry me. If he wants to marry me, he should marry me first before talking about having a child. He knows I already have a child, so what is he afraid of? Hi babe, I hope you are doing good. First and foremost, trust your instincts. If you're not ready to get pregnant again, don't let anybody push you into it. You've already been through a lot. Forget what your mother said. Talk clearly with your man, the man your grandmother introduced you to. Tell him how you feel about the idea of getting pregnant before marriage. Let him know you want to be married first before having a child. If he really cares about you, he should respect your wishes and be willing to marry you without needing you to get pregnant first. Set firm boundaries. A good marriage should be built on respect and shared values, not on pressure and conditions. If you decide to go and see him, use birth control to avoid getting pregnant by accident. It is smart and responsible to wait after marriage to get pregnant. Ask yourself why he wants you to get pregnant before marriage. If he will only marry you if you are pregnant, it is worth thinking about his true intentions and whether he's really ready for a committed relationship. Babe, put your happiness first. Your peace of mind and your well-being are the most important things. Don't do something just to make others happy or because you feel pressured. Don't let anybody pressure you. Make choices that are best for you and your child's future. Take your time to think about everything carefully. Getting married and having another child are all big decisions. And even before you get married, make sure you feel totally ready and confident in the relationship before moving forward. Trust your instincts, babe. Trust yourself. And do what is best for you and your child. Stay strong and take care of yourself. Now, if you have any advice for this sender, just write story number 2 and leave your advice and opinions. She's going to be in the comment section reading them. Now, let's move on to story number 3. I'm in a really tough situation and I need some advice. I don't want to marry my fiancé anymore, and I don't know what to do. Let me start from the beginning. My name is Anne, and I'm currently engaged to a man we will call Fred. We've been together for about 4 years and engaged for a year. When Fred proposed, I was over the moon. It felt like the right decision at the time, and I was genuinely excited about spending the rest of my life with him. However, over the past few months, I've started having serious doubts about our relationship. Here are some reasons why. When we first started dating, it seemed like we were on the same page about our future. But now I realize that our goals are very different. I've always dreamed of traveling, pursuing further education, and maybe even living abroad for a few years. Fred, on the other hand, is very settled in his job and doesn't want to leave our hometown. He has made it clear that he doesn't support my dreams of living elsewhere or continuing my studies. 2. Our communication has worsened significantly. We used to talk about everything, but lately it feels like we are just going through the motions. Every time I try to bring up something important, he either brushes it off or gets defensive. It's like we've lost the ability to have meaningful conversation without arguing. 3. There's a growing emotional disconnect between us. I don't feel that deep connection we once had, and I'm pretty sure he feels it too. We rarely spend quality time together, and when we do, it feels forced. We've even stopped doing things that we used to enjoy doing together. 4. I've noticed several red flags in his behavior that I can't ignore anymore. He can be quite controlling, and I feel like I'm constantly walking on eggshells around him. He criticizes my friends and family, and I often have to justify my relationships with them. This controlling behavior wasn't as evident in the beginning, but it has become more pronounced over time. 5. I've done a lot of growing and self-reflection over the past year. I've realized that I am not the same person I was when we first met. I want different things now, and I'm not sure if he wants the same things. My partner doesn't support those changes. I feel like I've outgrown the relationship, and staying in it feels like I am holding myself back. Finally, I have realized that I am not excited about the wedding anymore. The thought of planning it, walking down the aisle, and committing to a lifetime with Fred fills me with much anxiety than joy. I've been avoiding making wedding plans because, deep down, I know this isn't what I want. I've tried to talk to Fred about my concerns, and the conversation always ends badly. He accuses me of being unreasonable and dismisses my feelings. I've also confided in a few close friends, but their advice hasn't been very helpful. Some tell me to stick it out and give it more time, whilst others think I should call off the engagement immediately. The wedding is only a few months away, and I'm feeling increasingly trapped. I don't want to hurt Fred's feelings because he does have good qualities, and I know he loves me, but I can't ignore my own feelings, and the thought of marrying him while feeling like this seems unfair to both of us. I'm at a loss. How do I approach this situation? Should I call off the wedding and potentially break his heart? How do I start this difficult conversation without it turning into another argument? I don't want to make a decision I will regret, but I also don't want to ignore my instincts. Please, I need your advice. Hi, babe. Now, this is a huge decision. A lot of people take getting married for granted, but agreeing to marry someone is a huge decision. It is not a joke. Now, admitting that something isn't right takes courage. The first thing I want you to do is talk to your partner. You need to have an honest talk with him. Pick a quiet and calm time to talk without any interruptions. Talk to him about how you feel and why you are worried. If you try to talk to him or you talk to him and nothing comes out of it, think about seeing a therapist or a counselor. Because I want you to be confident in your decision when you finally make it. Couples counseling can give you both a chance to talk about your problems and see if your problems can be fixed. Now, it's okay to take a step back and give yourself time to think before getting married. You can even postpone the wedding. This doesn't mean you are cancelling it forever, but this will give both of you time to figure out if this is really what you want. Rushing into marriage with doubts can lead to bigger problems later on. Think about what you want in life, the most important things you need in a partner and your future. Now, from what you've written so far, your goals don't align with your partner. And if this is the case, then it is a sign that this relationship isn't right for you in the long run. I want you to picture yourself in 5, 10, 20 years. Do you see yourself happy and growing in this relationship? If the answer is no, it might be time to rethink getting married. If you think about everything and you decide to call off the engagement, you need to talk to your partner and get ready for a hard conversation. Be honest with him. Talk about the good things in your relationship, but also explain why you think it is best to break up. It is better to deal with the pain now than to get into an unhappy marriage. Put yourself first. Put your happiness first. Marrying someone when you have serious doubts can lead to regret. You deserve to be with someone who fully supports you and your needs. You deserve to be with someone who wants to see you grow. Deciding to cancel or postpone a wedding is really tough, but it's very important for your future. This is a very huge decision for you to make, so think about it very carefully and trust yourself to make the best decision for you. Your happiness comes first. Take care of yourself, babe. Now, if you have any advice for this sender, just write story number 3 and leave your advice and opinions. She's going to be in the comment section reading them. Like always, remember you are not perfect. I'm not perfect. The senders are not perfect. So please be kind to them in the comment section. And also don't forget to leave your advice and opinions down below. It is because of you that they've sent the stories in the first place. And so your advice and opinions really matter. If you've not subscribed yet, what are you waiting for, babe? I know you enjoy the stories, don't you? I know you enjoy the stories. Come and join the family. Subscribe to this channel and like this video. And don't forget to hit the notification bell so that when I post, you'll be notified immediately. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. See you next time. Okay, I'm done. Bye!